Okay, there we go. There's no turning back now, guys. We've hit transition. We're now on the everybody's live screen, and we've got that beautiful 5x5 viewing. Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Phil. I'm here to run a one-shot in the world of Anacra in IOTH Academy. Going to be a little bit different today. If you've been following Tales of the Book of Dawn and the other IOTH Academy stuff that's been going on, we are behind the scenes here today. We're looking at some of the lesser known, less heroic occupants of the Great Lodge, in fact, the Great Hall, one of the lodges in IOTH Academy. And here to bring you this adventure, obviously myself, hi again, lovely to meet you, but we have a crew of 4, and let's start doing the rounds here. LaFon, if you'd like to introduce yourself, and we'll go clockwise around that.
Hi, I'm LaFon. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I am a caster and otherwise a fan of tabletop RPGs, so thank you for having me.
I just think a caster and a fan of tabletop RPGs here on Casters and Castles.
Well, wonders never cease.
Okay, next on my list, we've got B. B, welcome to the broadcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, my name is B. I'm better known as I'm a Bebop. I am neither a caster nor a castle, but I am
Get them out of here. Get them out of here.
Enemy, stop.
Was that the end of your introduction, or did I just cut you off too
Yeah,
early?
that was it. LaFon's was short. I was trying to match.
I see. Okay, well, thank you very much. Sorry, I felt like I just cut you off there. And man of class, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi, I'm Olaf, or also known as Man of Class. I am in fact a caster. Also not a castle, but I am one of those creative minds behind Monkey Bubble, if anyone is interested.
Okay, and joining us a little bit at the last minute, but nonetheless, we're happy to have them here. Pyrotechnics, welcome to the broadcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm a caster, and also I GM on Casters and Castles for Covens and Cauldrons because I can't get enough C alliteration, apparently.
Nice.
And I suppose, I'm a fan of tabletop RPGs as well. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, wonderful to have you. And again, thank you very much for stepping in last minute. Unfortunately, Pods of War was, as you've seen from the earlier social media, scheduled to be on here today. Unfortunately, not feeling very well still, didn't want to push themselves, and so we've said, okay, that's fine. Health comes first. Step back. We'll find someone to cover that. So without further ado, we can actually get started with the show. So here's how we start. Everybody knows of IOTH Academy, a paradise of learning, a bastion of knowledge, a series of impossible floating structures where magic abounds and miraculous is just your average Thursday. It's so mundane that we take it for granted. And of course, everyone knows of the many fabled and storied denizens and expatriates of this fabulous place, but few ever stop to think of exactly what is required to keep a place like this, of this scale and grandeur running. Sure, magic deals with a lot of the day-to-day operations, but cleaning, cooking, administration, who deals with all this? Did you even stop to think about this? Shame on you. The lodges in particular require a huge volume of administrative, menial and custodial work to stay on top of the sheer volume of students ensconced within. Have you ever met students? Then you'll understand what I mean. And of course, much like not every student at the Academy can ascend to the top of IOTH Academy's golden spires and assume the role of master, not every domestic servant can rise to the dizzying heights of middle management. Which brings us to the scene before us. You stand in a line before the desk of Custodian Gerrymander, the chief bureaucrat of the Great Hall, a large, ruddy-faced man with a classic Italian plumber ex-walrus mustache. You've been here before, individually, and you know exactly what is about to go down. No matter how hard you try, no matter what precautions you take, you just can't seem to get it together. And it's time for another one of Custodian Gerrymander's legendary haranguing sessions. This time, however, you're not alone for the haranguing. Several other people of varying kind and stature are lined up alongside you, with varying levels of hangdog expression. Cooks, custodians, paper pushers, door holders, and bag carriers all. They await their turn under the tongue of Custodian Gerrymander, and not in a good way. At which point, we find ourselves standing at the door of Custodian Gerrymander's office, and find ourselves ready to go in. In fact, a voice from within says, "All right then, you honourable lot, step inside." And the door opens, allowing you to step foot into Custodian Gerrymander's office. Don't you think I've got enough on my plate? Do you think this place runs its bloody self? Fat chance. It takes brains, patience, skill, and determination, something the four of you are sorely lacking by all accounts. Now, why don't you give me the rundown of who you are and exactly why you think you're here? And whoever would like to go first in this can introduce their character to the rest of the group.
Mouse goes.
All right. Standing standing
Gosh, guys, it's fine.
significantly ahead of the group, or rather ahead of the group, significantly taller than you would expect an individual to be. A gray-skinned individual steps forward with a dreamy look on their face, often looking off into the corners, looking at patterns and general oddities in the room, seem to pay more attention to that than even this discussion that's happening before them. Sorry, could you repeat what you said?
What, from the bloody start or from the last bit? Look, you're here because you're in trouble, and I'd like to know exactly what you think it is, in your words, that you're doing here.
Well, I tried to say hello, but they ran away, and then they left the bag here. I was just trying to carry it to their room. The name's Savvy, by the way. Savvy Porter.
This
I was doing my best.
Gerrymander clearly takes up a big pen and writes. You can see him sort of mouthing the words along. Savvy Porter, and he's writing it in some kind of a ledger.
At which point, Barbara walks up to the bag and is trying to take it back. Just.
What, you're trying to take that back from...
Yep, from LaFawn? Does LaFawn currently have the bag?
Yeah, it's carrying the handle of what
Savvy.
used to be a bag in their hand.
Oh. Well, she's trying to take the handle.
Okay.
She's just tugging it.
I mean, I feel like this is sort of the thing that you can roll as many dice as you'd like. He's a very strong person. You are a very small
Yeah, no,
character.
she's not going to do anything.
I think
but
it's
she's
unlikely,
going for it.
But we have noted
So-
the attempt.
Savvy, at your feet, there's a rather small, ruddy-cheeked, red-haired, space-bun-looking creature that is jerking at the handle. Like, just...
All right, you there,
Get it.
trying to wrest that from the big fella. What's your name?
Who's asking?
Me, your ultimate superior, Crumstable
You're a
Gerrymander.
Ain't no cup. Right, my name's Barbara Alvaraba. Don't mess it up. It's a
hang on.
family name.
Hang on.
Tradition.
You're gonna have to spell that out for me.
Oh, you're cute. Anyway, give it.
You can tell Crumstable Gerrymander very, very clearly losing patience here. It's like, look, I've got punishment detail worked up for you, but it's not finalised yet. If you'd like something even worse than what I've got in mind, just keep on acting like this.
They here.
Okay, I thought as much. All right, that's two of you down. How about the other two?
And shuffling forward, you see a slightly hunched, very curmudgeon-y looking older human man with like patches of hair, wispy and white, just trailing down towards his kind of like rough spun red robe. Very, very large spectacles, like just completely overtaking his face, and just this sour look on, sour expression that just kind of says, I would rather be literally anywhere than here with all of these people right at this exact moment.
To help the audience, can we get a number on the ratio of glasses to face for this guy?
It's like probably 1.5 to 1. Like,
wow,
it's the glasses are so big, and they actually are like almost like goggly, in that his eyes just look gigantic. This is like somebody who very clearly has vision issues, and even so, through the glasses, he kind of squints up and he goes, well, I'm not sure why I was called here. I was just asked by the librarian to come see whoever you might be.
Well, again,
Constable?
whoever I might be, again, I have to remind you, your ultimate superior. It doesn't get much higher than me for the sort of work that you're doing here today.
Who made you superior then?
I made myself superior through hard work and graft, something you lot know next to nothing about, it would seem. And I can tell you exactly why you were brought up here, Phineas Fargle. It's because you're such a bloody curmudgeon that nobody dare approach you in the library to try and find a single book. And that attitude problem of yours is making problems for everybody else, which is a problem for me, which, if you have not noticed, I am not a particularly big fan of.
Oh.
All right,
Why
and the
didn't you
last
just
of
say
you.
so?
Last of you there with a long nose.
So, you see someone standing, like, definitely to the side
Can I just
look.
interject? You are currently all shouting at Crimstable through the door into his office. He's not concerned,
Good.
but as long as you guys are happy there, we're all fine. There we go. Thank you. Look, I made these maps. I expect you to explore every
In
inch
and
of
out,
them,
in and
guys.
out.
Okay,
Yeah.
Well,
Shuffle it in. Just
yes.
doors are very difficult.
Clearly.
It might be a mimic, obviously.
Of course. Always a risk. Sorry, Olaf. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No
quite so
problem.
suddenly.
No problem. It's all good. Anyways, you see this pretty lumbering figure with good posture standing there. Very much over that 7 foot tall measures. A pretty tall fella. Gray, bluish, leathery skin, but most importantly, a trunk. Because this looks to be an elephant man, which it is.
And for
has green
clarity, not like the elephant man, but a man who is also like part elephant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So four fingers, no 5, 4 fingers, and of course the trunk, the big ears, what you would feel like an elephant has, but he has fairly normal humanoid figure. Other than that, wears very fine clothes that seems to be above the station that you are accustomed to be, wearing about, and is clenching what looks to be a book very tightly with a look of they're not supposed to be here and they haven't done anything wrong, and obviously after all this barraging, he opens his mouth like, I have no idea why you think I should be here. My only crime is loving food too much, and the fact that no one can appreciate it in this gosh darn academy is beyond me.
I just want to say, Olaf, if you can keep that voice up for the rest of this, I'll be very impressed.
Oh no, I intend to.
Okay.
That's
good luck.
incredible.
Godspeed.
Phineas is like bug eye looking at that book, by the way, as he like slowly creeps towards the Loxodon, holding it and trying to see if he can read the cover.
What's
Barbara
the
has
book?
taken the head of the bearskin rug and is trying to tug it out the door.
This gets a very visible response from Crimstable Gerrymanders. Oi, you there, little gnome-looking bastard! Get off my bearskin rug! I'll have you know I hunted this bear myself. Look at the size of it. Look at the sheen of it. Look how
Bastard,
pristine
you're a
it is.
bastard, Bastion! It's mine! You're borrowing it!
You there, savvy porter, do me a favour. Would you pick her up and get her off my rug?
Don't you fucking touch me.
Savvy will reach down and with one hand pick up the gnome.
You'll be here for my lawyer!
You can see now that
I have
Savvy has
rights!
actually entered
No,
into
you
the
don't.
room. So now that Savvy's entered the room, the tunic that he's wearing is barely fitting. He is almost ripping out of it just by how big he is in terms of his physicality. So
he's
it's not a
one-
problem at all to pick this gnome up.
He's one stubbed toe away from going full Hulk on that tunic. Yeah. Okay. Right. Look. Well. Oh yeah. Sorry. Olaf. What was the title on that book for Phineas?
I mean, it depends. Can you read it through my kind of big arms?
I'm going to attempt to. I don't know if that's some kind of roll.
Look, we're in the realm of role playing here, so tell me what you want to do, and we'll mediate that with interpersonal
He's just
reactions.
trying to creep a little closer and look at the book, and he's just like, it's not. He thinks he's being a little bit stealthy and maybe getting sneaky because there's a big distraction of the bearskin rug, but like it's kind of obvious that he just keeps like darting his eyes over towards the book and like not really listening to anything else going on. Like,
To be clear, I'm not trying to hide what's on it. There's just arms in the way because that's the way I'm clenching it.
Okay.
so he's gonna like creep right up behind Ollie and be like, where did you get that?
Well, I wrote it, of course. I lost the voice. Right. Well, I wrote it.
You wrote it yourself.
There's a recipe book. There's all my food is in it.
Ah, I see. Okay, just when I take a look, just to be sure, I want to make sure it's not actually the property of the
I mean,
library.
I'll-
Not lying.
I'll hand in the book if he wants to read it.
Flip through it. Dizzying speed, he flips from the front to the back, and he goes, "Oh, okay, yes, very nice."
We're staring at that book.
Inhales like a big loogie and just like has like a glassy look on his face as he stares forward.
Okay, from Crumstable Gerrymander. Right, well, if that's quite enough out of the lot of you, the fact of the matter is you're all on thin fucking ice. One more misstep out of you, and you're packing your bags and moving on. And if we're nice, we might not just chuck you out the window. I haven't got time to figure out what to do with you individually, so for the rest of the day, whilst I'm busy doing better things with my time than running a bloody nursery, I've arranged a special detail for you all. You're going to have to report to Helicopter Strange down in the Custodian's Lodge, and he'll tell you all about it. Now, fuck off and leave me alone.
All right.
Can I
Is this an in-character hand raise?
can I put her down now?
Wait until you get out of my office, then you can do whatever you like with her.
Savvy will walk out the door and put the
You don't
gnome,
need
the
a
gnome
pocket
down.
light.
Okay, yeah,
Fake.
Crumstable Gerrymander very, very clearly is done with you. He's like back, head down, scribbling away in a ledger. And shut the door on your way out.
Guess the last one out. Just slam the door.
Oh, do
'Cause,
you know,
you know.
I actually had a thing I wanted to show you, which is the layout of Crumstable Gerrymander's office. So hopefully this is
Yes.
coming
Visible.
up to you guys now. I had rather hoped that would come up on the cameraman view as well. Let me figure out why that's not. There it is. Okay, it's just a little bit slow in happening. So yeah, this is Crumstable Gerrymander's office as viewed in orthographic view because I'm very fussy about the maps I've made. Right. Now that you have been summarily dismissed by Crumstable Gerrymander, it's time to move on to your next port of call here. And of course, you're all very familiar with the layout of the Great Hall and how to get from one place to the other, so it doesn't take you all that long to get to your next point of call, the realm of Helicopter Strange, the head custodian. So, let me move you all over.
The Custodian's Lodge.
This is the Custodian's Lodge, hopefully. Again, for those of you watching at home, you might have gathered the impression that I'm not all that set up for live streaming. And, yes, unfortunately, there may be a few minutes here where I am a little bit behind the curve. Hopefully that has now updated for everybody. I'm looking at my live screen, and that appears to have not. And hopefully you can all see the Custodian's Lodge. In fact, let me drag your characters out so that you can be just on the outside here. If you'd like to talk amongst
It's
yourselves.
mildly blurry for me, but that is weirdly in character.
Mildly blurry. Well, there's a very good chance here that I have just...
It loads in eventually.
It load in, yeah.
Yeah.
It load
No,
in
again,
slowly.
I almost prefer it this way because,
Ah.
as we've established, Phineas has terrible eyesight.
Yeah, it's very in character. Let me just check this is all coming through on the cameraman screen. Because
I
again,
always hate navigating through this place.
hasn't
So many
updated.
students.
Oh my god, Barbara has stopped existing.
Yeah. It's,
Oh God.
Okay, hopefully we're good there. Hopefully that's
You're small enough, right?
cameraman. Check. And if I
He's actually in
additionally
your
sound...
pocket.
And we have reached the problem again where Lafon appears to not have control over his character. So
It might be the same
it's
same token.
probably the
issue.
exact same token issue, but we're going to have to wait until we've... I'm going to have to do this manually whilst we...
It's okay.
It's a finely tuned machine here, and now I can't apparently edit control.
While
of
you're
Lafon's
doing
character.
that, I suppose we have a bit of a conversation as we are walking.
Please do, thank you.
So, sounds like you all are screw-ups too. What do you all do?
Speak for yourself, Codger.
Bends down. You can hear like crack, crack, pop, crack in the back as he like looks down and just like very close, spectacles almost touching your face. He goes, I don't think I recall ever making your acquaintance before. Is there any reason you're being so rude?
Because you smell like prunes. Piss off.
That's very true and applicable, but you just constantly thieving things. I don't know why you think you're any better than me.
I'm not thieving. The Albarabas don't thieve. That's rightfully mine, I have, you know. And besides, your pocket lint's not that interesting.
Right. With a bit of luck now, with that bit of colour added to the scene, everybody now has control of their characters again, and we can actually move on. If you'd all give that a little wiggle for me. Yes, fantastic. Thank you.
Wiggle, 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 wiggle.
Apologies for the delay. So, you push open the double door and find yourself in the somewhat austere realm of the Custodians. Long tables line this room, and doors down either end indicate that there is more to this than just this simple lodge. Down the length of each of these tables sit the many, many custodians that keep things spick and span here in the Great Hall. And at the far end of the table, the far end of the hall, sat on what looks like, but isn't quite technically a throne, a giant of a man, 7 feet tall, resplendent with rippling muscle. As you enter the room, it falls deathly quiet as every custodian in the room turns to look at you as if you've interrupted something.
Barbara takes this opportunity to steal a fork off the table and step immediately back into place.
Okay, I'd like you to make a roll for that one. If you can make
okay.
Oh, off the top of my head, I'm going to forget exactly what roll that is.
Might be a sleight of
She's
hand.
like,
Sleight of hand, there we
she's-
go. Yeah.
She's just taking it.
I swear I've DM'd a game before, guys. Yeah, so if you'd like to make that roll for me, we'll
got
figure
this.
out how successful you are in this one.
Made. I'm just taking the fork. I wasn't trying to be stealthy.
Oh,
I'm
you
just taking...
don't care at all. So what? You
Nope.
literally just
I
walked
mean,
up
that's
to
what
the.
the dice say.
Well, the nearest.
Yep.
The nearest janitor, you're quite lucky in this, is a very meek kind of person. He just goes, but I was using that fork
Stuff it!
to gain
Shoved in
sustenance.
her pocket.
And straight back down again. Like, goes, I guess I'll just use a knife for all of my food then, and stabbing intently. And it's unfortunate because it's a salad and it's notoriously very difficult to eat with a fork.
I'd like to walk up to the table, take a fork from the person across from this individual, take it from them, and hand it over to the person whose fork was just stolen.
Okay, so you do this, and I'm gonna highlight here. Hopefully, this is the person who was originally had their fork stolen by Barbara, and this is the person who you have attempted to level the playing field with. And so they look at you and go, well, look, I'm afraid all you've done here is move the problem one place down the line. And sure, we can keep swapping cutlery until we're all dizzy from it, but that's not really solved anything, has it?
Barbara
But now
walks up and
she
takes that
has a
one, too.
fork.
Yes, but
Barbara
I
takes
don't
that
have a
fork
fork.
too.
Look, if you
She
could just
takes
convince
it.
your friend to give me a fork back, or give me that fork back, then I think this would all be settled. And frankly, I don't really know why you've walked in and started rearranging the cutlery. You're not custodians here. You're not janitors.
Barbara is now making the rounds and taking forks.
From the other end of the room. Ah, you must be the 4 I was expecting for punishment duty. If you would kindly stop bothering my custodians and come up where I can speak to you in somewhat of a less booming voice, I would appreciate this.
Just a moment. They're interrupting the sanctimonious act of eating over here.
No,
Gotta stop
not
this.
just a moment, right this second. And he's got a very commanding voice, guys. Like, in fact, can you all make a will save against being compelled to be frog marched down at great speed? towards the
Wisdom,
front of
I
the room?
guess.
Yes, sorry, wisdom.
And
Wisdom saving throw, sorry, is that what you want?
Please.
No worries.
it's not very much. I got a 6.
No.
Well,
Okay, so everybody except Ollie suddenly feels compelled to their very core. And just to be clear, this isn't magic. This is just a very charismatic person with a very commanding voice.
As we're moving pretty quickly by, I want to like side eye at the two that have had their cutlery stolen. And just go, don't mind them, they're weirdos.
You hear just as you go past a very quiet. Well, yes, obviously, but this doesn't solve my cutlery problem.
Ollie walks up to them and he grabs a couple utensils from like a pouch and he's like, "Here's a fork. Here's a fork. Here's a fork. Here's a fork. You can keep on eating that. It's so good.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry about it.
Biodegradable
What
plastic.
what are you reading actually? Looks interesting."
You have a chopstick. Barbara covers her forks. She's just like wiping them off casually on Savvy's tunic, or what's left of it.
How does Savvy feel about this?
Savvy does not notice.
Okay, I figured as much.
She comes up to his calf. Like there's
Yeah, this is a like all D&D groups are mismatched. It's one of the beautiful things about D&D. But like height-wise, there is some real peaks and troughs in this one.
If there's any low-hanging chandeliers, Savvy's hitting his head against them.
Now,
Oi! We don't say low hanging in this house. It's not very nice.
is that a slur in Gnomish?
Maybe it is. Who's asking?
The DM, and he was being friendly about it.
I love you, Phil.
Ollie did
voice
not
guy.
move up with the rest, by the way. He's still
Okay.
enthralled by checking out what's going on the tables. There's food.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, you're interested.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so again from the top of the room, I do not make a habit of repeating myself, sir. Please kindly walk your way up to the end of the room so that we can deal with the current situation.
Well, if you insist. No.
I very much do.
Makes their way lumbering over.
Helicopter Strange is my name. Insisting on things is my game. So you hadn't
that is
noticed it when
alright.
you walked in, but sat on the lower step of the dais is a much smaller man, sort of a where Helicopter Strange is sort of a grand, imposing person rippling with muscles. The person sat at the edge of the dais, who I forgot to give a character token to, is a very small, wheezed little man, and he sits there picking at his teeth with somewhat broken and jagged fingernails, and he's giving you a real sneer on the way through here, so you can tell instantly that he doesn't care much for you.
I mean, mug him back.
Well, believe me, the mugging intensifies. You thought he was mugging at you before. You thought there was disdain in the eyes before. It only intensifies. Very clearly knew you were coming and isn't happy to be in your company.
Do I know this person?
Yes. If you've been... Well, in fact, you're all workers here, so if you would recognize some of the more well-known people. So this is Manuel Rince, and he is largely the second in command for Helicopter Strange, but also something of a general dog's body for Helicopter Strange. And then the name again for clarity is Manuel Rince.
Wow.
Helicopter Strange looks down at you from the dais, and it's not a tall dais, but clearly he needed a chair that size to accommodate his bulk. Now then, it is not often that I am tasked with finding a suitable punishment for ne'er-do-wells, shall we say, but I think I have found something that will suit us all rather well. You are to be put on guard duty for the day, and once guard duty has been successfully completed, we can reevaluate whether you need any further training and or punishment. We're hopeful that just keeping you in a low stimulation environment may have some sort of beneficial effect on the four of you. So you will be sent down to a room, and Manuel Rincycle here, my number 2 in the organization, will guide you down there. You are not to leave the room until somebody comes to collect you and tells you that your time is over. Do I make myself abundantly clear?
Savvy's gonna reach out. Savvy's gonna reach out with a large hand for a handshake. I'd say, yes, totally understood.
So you're reaching out to Helicopter Strange.
Yes.
Helicopter Strange looks at your hand very confusedly, and then looks at Manuel Rincycle and says, Manuel, I believe they are trying to make physical contact with me. If you could please intervene. And Manuel Rincycle stands up and goes, yes, of course, my lord, and steps in between you and the hand, and isn't doing anything else other than standing in between you and Helicopter Strange. Nobody may touch the hand or body or visage or aura or spirit of Helicopter Strange without express permission. Please back yourself up. And Manuel Rincycle is not a big guy, but he's very firmly ensconced himself in that space.
Savvy is simply standing, hand outstretched, in the most awkward waiting for a handshake position you've ever seen.
Like, I've got a level with you here, Savvy. You're going to be left hanging for a very long time here.
He's more than willing to
Fine,
wait.
fine. Just wanted to
Break
check you on
the
board
awkward
with it.
silence, but just like, sorry, you want us to do what now? Guard something?
Yes, you are to be taken down to what I am told is referred to as B storage, and left there to think about what you've done and be, again, in a low stimulation environment where the worst of your impulses are hopefully worked off in the solitude and silence Now, Manuel, I wish to resume my posing. If you would please lead our personages off towards B storage, we can then be about our days. And there's a general moving forward, please be out of the way now motion from Manuel Rince. But again, not a particularly imposing person, so how effective that is kind of down to you.
DM question: how many forks did I get?
My understanding is you tried to steal one. Were you looking to steal...
No, I was taking multiple. Like as I went out, I was like,
okay, I see. So let's see. You passed. Let's call that.
Should I roll like a 1d8 or something?
I will do the dice rolling for that. Thank you very much. And I also have some physical dice here because I've got so many windows open, guys. I have no idea how I'm tracking anything that's going on. Oh, you stole a whopping 6 forks. But
yes!
everybody in here is so meek that they either didn't notice or didn't have the spine to stand up and doing anything about it. Like, you get the impression here that Helicopter Strange is the entirety of the spine and backbone for this particular group of individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that means I lost 6 forks.
Oh, so you've been replacing them all the way through.
I've been replacing forks all the way through.
I'm not going to make you track forks all the way through, but you know.
Oh no, I've got a system.
Let's
It's
not go
great.
stupid here. Yeah.
I'm not giving them my spork. That's all I'm not doing.
Measure fork encumbrance.
Bless you.
I'll turn that into the most awkward wave goodbye you have ever seen. So it goes from just and turn around and walk out the door.
Everybody that witnessed that, please take 1 point of psychic damage from just how awkward that was.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
you have cringed so much that several organs scrunched in on themselves in fear. But,
Can I make a play to have been trying to outstare Manuel once again and kind of do the
this? I missed that because your preview was
the like two fingers to the eyes thing, like.
Yeah, well, Manuel Rince is currently busy trying to shove you all forwards and hasn't really... The look of disdain hasn't changed. It's still there. You get the impression that this is just kind of what his face looks like. And so he's acknowledged that you've done this, but it's not changed much about him. He is still... And, like, he is now... The 3 of you that are stood in a line in front of the dais, he is, like, hands-on starting to try to move you forward. And this is varying degrees of success because we've got Gnome in the middle, Goliath on one end, and a human there. And again, he's a small, weaselly guy, but he would like you to move forward.
Yeah, I'm going. Goes around the back, and he just bumps into, like, 3 or 4 of these custodians on the way out.
Ollie tries to,
my
my
back, my chair, all the way
Out of the way, respect your elders.
Ollie tries to sneak in like a quick word towards Manuel, being like, I need to tell you how long is this gonna take. It's got a sauce on, and I don't know. It's got a couple hours, but then I gotta take it off, otherwise it's gonna burn.
You are going to... I almost picked up your accent there. You're going to be here for as long as it takes. It might be a day. It might be a week. You'll be in the room until somebody comes to retrieve you. If you had a sauce thickening, you should have taken it off the heat ahead of time. You knew you were going for punishment duty.
Stays nuts. Harper leaves.
Well, I guess Ollie starts leafing through his recipe book, frantically seeing if the sauce is gonna be okay.
I think it might be a flour by the end of this. Unfortunately, you're in for the long haul, I'm afraid. Okay.
Sounds like that sauce is gonna blow.
Yeah.
he
He was
does,
cooking
on his
dynamite. It's
It
unfortunate.
does have an explosive taste.
We got any more?
I haven't
puns
been
we
able
wanna
to
chuck in that
taste anything
space?
in 30 years, but that'd be nice.
For context, how old is Phineas?
How old? Like, are you asking me, or do you want like a general how old does he appear?
You know, are we talking he's an old 50 or a young 120?
Somewhere between the two.
Okay.
He definitely has the old man crotchety factor down. And as a human, it would be an easy guess that he is probably past 60.
Okay.
And if he is, he's not in good shape. It is also entirely possible he's in his 90s and is in good shape through some ridiculous means. He seems to be relatively like wiry and like muscly, but just like very, very like thin muscle.
Yeah.
But he still like kind of shambles as he moves because he's like permanently hunched a bit.
Yeah, there's a point of old where you start to look kind of like dried and preserved. He's that kind of old.
Yeah, he's definitely getting into the like, and he smells like very much like like old library paper.
Of course. Yeah.
You get the sense he probably doesn't
Praise.
leave the library ever.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you for that flavor. Very useful. Right. So you are unceremoniously pushed out of the Custodian's Lodge here and ushered on your way down to B storage. And on the way, you are getting all sorts of muttering and diatribes from Manuel Rince cycle, like a mixture of like stuff that you can't hear, and like very loud outburst of "You'll be first against the wall when it's your turn, when it's our turn in the sun," and then back to muttering again. But after a few minutes, he ushers you in to what is a large bare room, and again, I'm going to have to drag your tokens.
Oh god, not the bees.
Into the B storage room. So again, apologies if you've got any flavour you'd like to add whilst I'm populating. Oh, that'd help if I actually moved with you guys into B storage rather than dragging.
Never actually know if it's storage for bees or if it's just there was an A storage and then this is the second one. No one ever explained that.
So, as a librarian, you would know this because it's one of these like, top 100 facts about the Great Lodge. It's in all of those little pamphlets. Like, B storage is called B storage because there is only really one thing in B storage, and that is a large glass jar with a bee in it. Nobody knows why it's there. Nobody has made any efforts to move it. It is just the bee storage room. That's where we keep the bee in a glass jar.
Oh yeah, now I remember. It's weird. It's neither of those things. See?
Correct. And again, let me just very quickly give everybody control of their characters again. Hopefully, we will have a break coming up in a little while, and I'll hopefully use that to fix this ongoing issue.
I would like to roll to pick Manuel's pocket.
Okay. Make another... I keep
Sleight of hand? Or...
There we go, sleight of hand. Make another sleight of hand roll.
Aye, baby! Woo!
Hang on.
Starting off hot.
Hang on. Still trying to give LaFon control of his character. There we go. Hopefully you've all got control of your character now.
Yep.
Oh boy, yeah. Manuel Rince cycle sees your hand coming towards him and just backhands it out of the way, with a probably what is an uncalled for level of force.
I reach again.
Roll again with disadvantage
Okay.
because you
Well,
have been
perfect.
spotted doing this.
Lessons learned, 0.
Yep. That's exactly the
I'll
kind
have-
of party I wanted.
How do I count in disadvantage? Just roll and then subtract.
I think you just roll
Yeah,
twice,
just roll
right?
twice. It's easy that way.
And take the lower.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, it's
come
a good
on.
one. Come
Wow,
on.
that first one's real good. Oh!
No!
That's-
No!
That's
How
unfortunate.
incredible.
And again, with the other hand this time, bats your hand away, and now he's stood kung fu style, waiting for the next onslaught of pocket picking.
How violently has he been batting away
Not
Barbara's
quite-
hands?
Not quite enough to do damage, but certainly enough to leave like a bit of a sting on the back of the hand. Like, when you've slapped someone or something, and it felt good, but you've got that like throbbing in your hand. It was one of those.
May I pick up both of them?
You can pick up Barbara with ease. Actually,
No,
what
I
is-
dodge roll.
What is your strength score?
I have +4 as my modifier, so 18.
Okay, yeah, you can easily pick up both of these people.
I would like to pick them up and just kind of hold them aside from each other, like away from each other, so not immediately swinging
Are
at each
you
other.
T-posing with them?
Not quite that wide, but certainly, an arm's length apart.
Okay. So
I stabbed his hand with a fork.
Helicopeter Strange, how have you picked them up? Describe what you've done.
Grab them by the back of the shirt, kind of just just hoisting them up.
Yeah. Okay, well, Helicopeter Strange is doing the, put me down, unhand me, swinging upwards at your arm, desperately trying to hit you, but he can't quite make it because of the angle and the way the arms of his shirt have been lifted up. But, you have clearly upset this man. And, B, you wanted to stab the hand with a fork.
I've been
Yes!
told you should use your words.
Use forks!
let's deal with this first. I guess roll an attack roll.
Things are getting out of hand very fast.
Yep. Okay,
Holy shit.
that's a hit. It's an unarmed strike, so that's only going to do 2 damage.
No, I have a fork. That's arm.
It's a fork-armed strike. It's still only going to do damage. It's not. It's a fork. It's not going
It's
to
not
like.
sharpened.
It's
Come on.
piercing damage instead of bludgeoning.
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent.
And how does Savi respond to this?
Do you mind if I make a Constitution saving throw to see how badly I react to the pain?
You play this however you'd like to, Lafon.
Okay. Here, let's just find out how.
You
If
got
you even notice.
12. Okay, yeah,
That Manuel got stabbed.
he will drop Barbara from what is essentially about 6 feet up. Just let go, drop her on the ground. And
Like to unstab.
with Manuel as well, I will let him go as well and drop both of them, not simultaneously, but close enough.
Sure. Can I get a dexterity saving throw, please, B, to see how you land on this one?
God help me.
Yeah, that you land somewhat roughly on your feet. You don't take any damage. You don't land stupidly, and the same is true for Manual Rince Cycle. Manual Rince Cycle gives a. If you've quite had enough of manhandling me, I will be leaving you to this. And very quickly hoofs his way over to the door. Hang on.
As he does that, is he pretty distracted at the moment?
Yes.
As he's doing that, Phineas just sifts through his pocket just like for a second, and he pulls out something really, really small that's like kind of like wiggling a little bit on a couple of legs, whispers to it, and he casts Infestation surreptitiously on Manuel.
Okay. Would you like to?
A bunch of fleas appear all over him.
Okay, well, he very quickly notices this and says, oh, no, I'm a janitor. Fleas, dirt, infestation, this is the opposite of my life's work. No, I must return quickly and take the bathiest of baths. And as he leaves the door, as he steps out of the door, he pops his head back around cartoon style and said, you will be first against the wall, mark my words. Slams it. There's the sound of a heavy wooden bar coming down on the other side of the door, locking you in, and then a very rapid patter of feet as he runs his way back over towards the bath, and you find yourself trapped alone with 3 relative strangers in B storage.
Well, that wasn't very nice. Why'd you poke me?
Would you pick me up, you lout?
Yeah, but don't steal things.
It's mine. I don't steal. They bought it to begin with. It's mine. I'm an Abarabba. It was mine to begin with.
If you say so. Where are we?
We're in B storage. There's the B.
Hang on, I keep forgetting to give you guys the isometric view of these, so you can get a better idea of exactly what it is that you are dealing with. 1 second.
I'm sitting on one of the benches indicated by my character token.
Thank you for your
I'll sit down as well
B
across the
storage
way.
show to players. Here we go.
I still have a book to leaf through after all.
I am curious about this book because you wrote this. You know what's in it.
Yes.
Okay, and so what are you
Also,
gaining
as
from
a
rifling through this?
also as a question to Finnegan. I don't know. You tried to read the book. You read Loxodon?
Nope. But I can read anything.
Okay. Well, I guess
Yeah.
that's just everything.
No. It was interesting. The writing style is a bit flowery for my taste, but I think you have potential, and the recipes seem sound. I can't cook anything, to be honest.
And no one can cook in these days anymore. It's ridiculous. They punish me for making a couple of people throw up. I mean,
Doesn't seem fair to me.
Don't understand good food. I mean, it's not my problem.
Okay, we smash cut back in time to Ollie making a meal that made people throw up. What was it that he was making? Describe it to us.
Okay, so what happened is Ollie had found this herb in one of the rooms in the academy that probably wasn't meant to grab ingredients from, but it had a very interesting flavor. And being the experimental and ingenious chef that Ollie is, he combined it with a couple of other things. It turned into this stew-like contraption that he then shaped very neatly onto plates in nice organized fashion to make it look as fancy as possible. Then served it to about half the students that had come eating that night. And it turned out that herb was definitely not meant for digesting in that fashion. And they did indeed all spend a lot of time on the toilets after that.
That is going to have some ramifications. I'd like you to know now. So hold on to that a lot of time in the toilets details for later. So you are now effectively trapped in this room with, again, a large glass jar in the middle of the room in which a bee appears to be bumbling around lazily, bouncing into the glass.
Can I tap on the glass?
Yes, you tap on the glass, and the bee definitely responds to this. At first, it's a sort of frenzied buzzing around, but then very quickly comes back to the point where you tapped on the glass interestedly.
I'd like to reach into my pocket and pull out a dried flower, if at all possible.
Okay.
And just kind of hold it in front of the bee. Does anything happen?
I feel like, Savi is the kind of gentle, beautiful soul who might gather a dry flower. That makes perfect sense to me. The bee's response hasn't changed massively. It's still hovering around, like it's interested in the fact that there is somebody there, is the impression that you get.
Does it look violent?
It's a bee. Unless you have like specific in-depth knowledge of apiculture, I think it's unlikely to be able to tell the mood of a bee short of it coming at you stinger first. And it's not obviously coming at you stinger first. Like it's you look into its deep black little bee eyes and you get something like a sense of longing, but you don't know for what, because again, you are not a bee or a beekeeper.
Very well. I will shuffle myself to the ground, just sitting in front of this glass container then.
Okay.
Can I then cast Speak with Animals to try and figure out what's wrong with this bee? Or not wrong with this bee?
You absolutely can.
Okay, well then I cast Speak with Animals.
Okay. And what would you like to say to this bee?
I would like to say to this bee, is like, hey, you're in this hey, you're in this jar. You probably know what's going on here. Is there anything you want us to do, or what's going on?
So interestingly, so everybody else listening to this just hears this large elephant man going bzzz, and like I don't know if you're familiar with bee communication. There's a bit of a dance aspect to it as well. So there's a bit of a wiggle from this large elephant man happening at the same time. The bee is completely uninterested. As far as you can tell, the bee has either ignored you completely or doesn't understand you.
I sidle over to Ollie and just like try to whisper, but very clearly, audibly say, I think Ollie's a few buzzes short of his breakfast cereal.
Who are you talking to?
I was talking to Ollie, but it's very. Sorry, I was just talking to Savi, and it's very obvious that Ollie is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yeah.
I'll just tap Ollie on the shoulder. Are you gonna let him talk to you like that? That's pretty mean.
Hey, that was said in confidence.
I mean, if he doesn't get it, he doesn't get it. That's how it works. But this bee is not really talking back to me, so maybe bee agrees. I don't know.
Maybe.
Wait a minute, you speak bee?
I mean, yeah.
Don't you?
Oh. No, I thought you were just crazy.
I mean, you can read everything. I can talk to animals. How it works.
Yeah, okay. All right. We're all magical yeehaws in here. Okay, what are we gonna do?
Maybe the bee needs like light. What if we open the container?
At this point, Barbara is exploring the room and sees this grate. She's poking it.
Okay, the grate is very heavily bolted into the floor. Like, you probably could, if you had the right tools and several hours to kill, unfasten the grate, but you have no idea where that goes to.
I have a fork.
Okay, so...
And I have several hours.
truisms. Okay, so you are welcome to sit here and chisel away at this grate.
Yep.
If
Barbara
that's
just sits herself down cross-legged. Hang on. Yeah. We gotta live act this one. Cross-legged. And she starts taking her fork. She starts going at this grate, trying to like go bolt by bolt. Just,
Come on.
okay.
Come on then.
It is very slow going with a fork. Like
yeah, that's perfect.
you are gonna
Mhm.
you're gonna be here for some time.
Yeah.
Back at the bee jar, however, the bee now starts to get a little bit more agitated. Like it's flying a little quicker, and you notice that at the top, like the only fastening at the top is it's a big, heavy, wax-sealed cork, and the bee is like actively flying into this cork, trying to work its way out, but to no avail, because ultimately it is just a bee, and the force they can exert is basically negligible. But it's clearly
So
agitated.
from the from the speak with animals stuff, and from the knowledge that bees also communicate subtextually through movement, is there anything I can get out of that outside of just the trying to poke it away and apparently attempting to get out?
Okay, so look, here's my read on how Speak with Animals works. Is you can understand the language intrinsically. Like, it's the magical effect. None of what is happening here looks to you like normal bee language. Like, as far as you're concerned, this is bee gibberish.
Sure.
Savvy, seeing as their group is now locked in this room, it wouldn't be very fair for all of us to be trapped, right? And I'm going to go and start reaching to open the jar.
Okay, so what you're picking up? What, are you picking up the jar, or are you pulling out the?
Is it free? Like I was under the impression that it's like bolted to the floor. Is it like loose?
It is a big heavy jar. Like this is a jar that is like bigger than your average beehive. This is too much space for this one bee, frankly. But it is ultimately just a heavy jar resting on the floor. So you could easily lift up the jar, or you could easily pull out the stopper.
Okay, I will pick it up first. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I'm not even going to make you roll a strength check because you're a man mountain. You can very easily pick up this glass bottle. So that's what you've done.
So this big jar with the bee in it. I know what I've read about bee storage specifically. Have I read anything about this particular bee in a jar that exists here?
So here's the thing: average lifespan of a bee, a couple of months at best. As far as you know, this bee has been in here for years.
I don't think that's a bee.
But it looks like a bee. I mean, it's buzzing
It
like a
does.
bee.
It didn't
It
talk
does.
like a bee to bee.
I don't
And
speak
it's been
bee
here
though.
for way longer than a bee.
Wait,
With
how
Shut
long-
up,
any right
the
to
lot
be.
of you. I'm trying to focus.
How long's it been here?
Yeah, make it.
What?
Hang on. Make a concentration check on trying to maintain your focus on chiseling out the grate here for me, B.
You got it. Let me see. What would that be? A wisdom check
Just make a wisdom roll, yeah.
or intelligence?
Interesting distinction. I'm going to say wisdom on this one.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So no,
Here.
great. What great? There was never a great thing. You certainly weren't trying to chisel your way out of it. You are now fully engrossed in the bee shenanigans happening in the center of the room.
Why are you guys trying to let the bee out? It's my bee. I say it stays in the jar.
How long's this bee been here?
Does everything
said
belong to
years?
you, or are you just saying that? Oh yeah, years and years.
Well, that's
Years.
terrible. And I'm gonna start breaking the seal.
Okay. So there's a bit of resistance here. Like it's clearly been sealed with some care and attention. It was clearly intended to not be brought out particularly quickly, but after a little bit of tugging, the cork does start to move, and there's a squeak and a strain and out pops the cork, and immediately this bee sees its exit and it goes for it. But here's the
I guess you
interesting.
could say it makes a beeline.
It does. It makes a beeline for the exit, and I make a beeline for being ashamed that I didn't think of that pun in time. Here's the thing.
You just got beat.
I got beat to the bee pun by B. It's
Unbelievable.
it's a family level catastrophe. My ancestors will be feeling this for generations.
I just took one.
How could he be so inconsiderate?
Exactly. Here's the thing, though. Once the bee is out of the bottle, it shoots up to the top of the room, hovers down a little bit, and starts to rapidly change. And it grows in size, it becomes red, it starts to elongate, and after a few seconds, floating in front of you is this particular apparition.
Told you it wasn't a bee.
Barbara looks at Sappy and goes, "You stupid motherfucker."
And from the mouth of this once bee comes a rough and tumble voice that says, "Hey, thank you for finally freeing me. My name is Pilmander, and I have been trapped in that bottle for years and years and years, and it has been keeping me from my one true calling. So I gotta say, thank you once again for letting me out of that jar." And he takes a big long puff on the cigar.
Savvy will again, by the way, reach out to shake the hand of this creature.
He keeps the cigar in his mouth and reaches out the hand, and it's the awkward hand for a handshake. So you've reached out with the same hand, and he goes, "Pleasure to meet you. The name's Pilmander. What are you schlubs doing here?"
I like this guy. He said hello back.
Yeah,
I,
I'm what you call a
shoving back in the
gregarious
jar.
kind of guy. Sorry, B, I missed
Kind of-
that.
Oh, go ahead, B.
Sorry, I
What were you
managed to
saying?
talk over you. If you wanna give that again.
No, I'm sorry. I talked over you.
Yeah.
All right, show of hands. So much to put him back in the jar. All right, Savvy, you're big. You're tough. Go ahead and stick him back in.
But he said hello.
And Pilmander says,
Oh, you're
For
so
what it's worth,
cute.
while I appreciate the attempt, I don't think any of yous has it in you to put me back in that jar.
Bet. I've got fork.
I look at him kind of one like bug eye, and I say in Infernal, which sounds very much like German. Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Look, we got a linguist over here. Yeah, sprechen Sie ein little bit of Deutsch, but I get the impression you's not all that well read, and so let's just keep this in common, huh?
Guys, I think he's a demon.
Bingo! This guy
Oh,
gets it in
man.
one. Congratulations. And he starts
So,
clapping his hand. And as he starts clapping his hands, there's the sound of, you won't know this in character because these things don't exist, but the sound of a studio audience hooting and hollering and clapping along with him.
Oh, we should have soundboard right about now.
It would be good. It would be good.
So you said something about a purpose or like a goal or like whatever what
More of
are you
a-
doing
what-
here?
More of what you'd call a raison d'etre, which is it's like a small piece of fruit that gives you your meaning, your existence in life. And my raison d'etre here is to have what you would call in your common parlance a bit of fun at other people's expense. Now, tell me, any of you bright-looking people know what a geas is? And
Would I have
Yes,
heard of
not.
in case the accent is confusing, out of character, that's a geas, Geas.
Would I have heard of this or read of this?
You almost
Yeah,
certainly
would any of us
Yeah.
would I know?
I think it's entirely possible that the librarian may have come across the word geas in his reading. For everybody else, you think he's talking about a big bird.
Oh,
So-
those go really well roasted with some vegetables and again the roast. Those are really nice. I get that. Yeah.
Love chicken. Is it turkey? Is it
Do I know
dry?
what it is, or is
Is it
it
curry
like?
gravy?
So
I
sorry, for
just
for
heard it.
context, a geas is a task imposed on a mortal by a higher being, compelling them to do something.
Oh, so more or less kind of the situation I'm already in. He goes, I think I'm already busy with one.
Not like this, you ain't. And he rolls up imaginary sleeves on his arms and goes, bada bing, bada boom. And you feel the weight of something settle upon you at a metaphysical level. And Pilmander says to you, congratulations, you get to be the first round of new contestants in the ever-popular game, Keep Pilmander Entertained. So, I've got a couple of ideas of what we can do to make things a little more interesting in here. And don't get me wrong, this is not a one-way street. You keep me entertained, I do some things for you, capiche?
Like what?
Well, I mean, for starters, I won't reach down your throat, grab the base of your spine, and turn you inside out, which, believe me, I am more than capable of doing. And, if
Yeah, yeah, what we gonna get?
you get not being turned inside out by a demon who is significantly more powerful than you and who really just wants to keep himself entertained and will settle for turning some mortals inside out if that's all he can get.
You stink.
So was that I stink?
You stink.
Yes, thank you. Well, I have been trapped in a glass jar for the past years, and so my stench is probably not where I would like it to be. I haven't had the chance to really add to it, but thank you. That's much appreciated. At least one of you in here has some manners. We got any more questions? Any more smartasses? Any more wise guys? Or are we ready to get this ball rolling?
I am going to kind of vaguely dissociate for a second and attempt to think, communicate. Yeah, attempt to communicate with my patron, and I'm just asking the same question over and over again. How screwed are we? Ever heard of this guy?
So remind me again of the name of your patron.
Should I send it to you in DMs?
Sure. Let's do it that way.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Keep it a mystery. Give you the quick and skinny there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh god, that's some reading.
Sorry, a lot of reading.
No.
Librarian.
That's fine. Oh my god, that is such a good pun. It's a real shame we can't just advertise that to the rest of the group.
I mean, it's entirely possible it comes up. And actually, those of you as Phineas is kind of eyes just glazed over. His hands are like shuffling inside of his robes, and he kind of like is clutching onto a very large, what appears to be furry book.
I think he's lost it.
He's like mumbling to himself.
So you actually see him. You actually see him start to ruffle with the book, but then specifically for Phineas, the world stops momentarily, and you get a direct line through to your patron. Those of you in game won't know this, but this is the Cat King, and he says, "Yes, hello. How can I help you today?"
I'm trapped in a room with a bunch of idiots, and they opened up a jar with the bee and some freaking demon named Pilmander popped.
Oh god.
How screwed are we?
Well, on a scale of 1 to screwed, somewhere around a 6.
Okay, so
Look.
Tuesday.
He was a little bit in vogue some years ago. He had what was known as a reality show where he would go and inflict various tortures upon mortals, all of a sort of vague attempt at self-aggrandizement. If you'd like to survive, I'd suggest playing along. Typically, if you keep him entertained with, 3 to 4 individual activities, that's usually enough to satiate him. How did you come across him? No one's seen him in years.
He was in bee storage.
I will never understand you humans. What is beast? Actually, no. I don't care. Do you need anything else from me, or are we copacetic here?
Oh, I probably can't do much for you till I get out of this situation. Freaking demons.
Well, noted. Luckily, my calendar is empty for the next little while, so keep the little shit entertained. Try not to die, and we'll see about giving you some additional tasks when this is all wrapped up. Is that
All right.
everything?
Yeah, I guess. Thanks for the information.
You're welcome. Do try not to bother me again during nap time. At which point, the world suddenly speeds back up and you are 3, 2, 1 back in the room. Exactly.
There's like just a large like globule of like drool and mucus just like forming out the corner of his mouth, and he goes,
Sorry, dozed off there.
Okay. So anybody else would like to take any issues with Pilmander or do anything else or consult with patrons?
What do you mean by entertainment?
Well, it can take a variety of forms. Let's see, back in the day, gladiatorial fights to the death, bringing me stuff from powerful monsters that I thought looked cool. But I've been trapped a little while. I've had some time to think and refine the process. And so I guess what we're talking about might be more along the lines of pranks and games at this point, rather than anything a little more serious.
Well, I like games.
Good.
He has a knife on the end.
Sorry, B.
Sorry, no, I didn't mean to cut Levon off. I see he has a knife on the end of his tail in his character art there.
Correct.
I would like to make a roll to steal it.
Yeah, go for it.
General stealth, or am I going for sleight of hand again?
You're going for sleight of hand again. That's a no. So here's the interesting thing. You actually go to swipe at Pilmander's tail, and your hand entirely passes through Pilmander's tail like he's not there.
Can I try again?
Go for it.
I'm not gonna have anything happen, but
As
Go
Barbara is doing that, Ollie
Wow.
asks Pilmander, like, "Hey, you got a cool knife there? Can you use that for like filleting or something? Is it like what do you use that for?"
Well, so here's the thing, and it's a little bit embarrassing to talk about it, but I kind of had this thing where I was pretending to be a bee for a prank. And so, as you can see, I got the wings, I got the knife, I got the little dealies, I got this fetching black and yellow cummerbund style thing going on. So I'm sure you could use it for slicing. It was more of a decoration kind of thing for me. And so
Yes, I was more trying to point the attention to the knife while it was trying to be stolen.
I see. Well,
That was
look,
what I was doing here.
Here's the thing. It's a natural 20 for B on this one, which we know that to mean automatic success. So you actually managed to connect with the knife. Previously, you passed your hand through the tail, and the tail just passed through you. But you do grab the knife, and you have hold of the knife. The knife is still attached, though. Like, it is very securely attached to Pilmander. So you find yourself stood next to Pilmander, effectively holding his tail up in front of your face. And he turns to look at you and says, look, we had that little discussion about turning you inside out a few minutes ago. That ship has not sailed. We can still do the turning you inside out thing if you'd really like to.
Yeah, here's the thing, Pilly. That's my knife.
Pilly? This is very definitely not. Look.
Yeah. No, I don't want to hear it. I mean, yeah, I'm a demon, just like a bee. They do some weird fetish stuff. That's great.
Fetish stuff?
Listen, I'm an abaraba, and there's my.
I think I read about that actually.
This is just for clarity here. I'm not that kind of guy. This ain't that kind of thing. This was for a prank.
That's what they all say, sweetheart. They give over the knife.
And there's a swoosh of kind of a red-coloured smoke, and Pilmander is in a different place, and you no longer have control of the knife or of his tail. Look, you guys, we have kind of a schedule to keep to here. I got some stuff lined up that I would like to get involved in pretty quickly here, and so we are just going to keep the tail off limits for now. I'm going to go full non-touchable here, and you can deal with that as you see fit.
The knife.
Sorry, I missed that.
So we have a small problem with these games, though. We're locked in this room.
Well, I mean, look, locked is locked, and historically that has not meant an awful lot to me as a demon. Case in point, 3, 2, 1, he clicks his fingers, and suddenly you are somewhere else entirely. And again, we've got to do this dance one more time where I give everybody control of their players. So please bear with me 1 second. You are welcome to try and converse with Pilmander, and I'll try and multitask.
Okay, that was weird.
Ah, back where we belong.
Yeah. So, Ollie, you immediately recognize this place, right? This is the kitchens. This is your home away from home.
My domain.
Correct. And I've just noticed a thing on the gem layer that shouldn't be there, but oh well, we will deal with that as it comes up. Yes, so you find yourself, hopefully very shortly, with control of your characters, stood in a line inside the kitchen, and it is a noisy place. It is all hustle, all bustle, a variety of smells. It's warm. People are baking bread. People are making pies. Somebody, for some reason, is juggling fish in the background. We don't quite know why, but it appears to be part of the recipe. So, part of the recipe it is.
I immediately run over to the other side of the room because there's a pot there that is completely unattended. There is liquid in there, and I am going to try and see if it's okay.
Okay.
Oh boy.
My guess is it's been somewhere in the region of an hour since you were last taken away from the kitchen. So let's make a skill check for cooking here, as to exactly what has happened to your pot of sauce.
Do I have a cook? What should we roll for?
If you've not got it, my guess for cooking is probably the higher of intelligence or wisdom for your character.
So you want me to saving throw or a check?
A check.
Skill
please.
check.
Skill
Yeah.
check. But if you don't have the skill, just do it with a raw stat.
Yeah, there is no skill
No,
for
okay.
it. That's fine.
I'll give you advantage
I'll-
as well because you are a cook.
Yeah, well, I say I'm a cook. Let's not
You
get
wrote
ahead
a
of ourselves
cookbook.
here.
You're a cook.
I wrote a recipe
I'm
book.
actually
He wrote a book.
I'm on Ollie's side here because I have known people who have written cookbooks who are not good cooks. So
Well, good. That the,
Okay,
the
let
good is
me
an
let
operative,
me
right?
let me just
Myself
I don't know.
included.
I'm just gonna roll a perception check, I guess.
Okay.
With advantage again.
Okay. Yes. So that's a pretty good roll. So you actually set the temperature of this like it's a slow reduction. It's not like a thick, wheaty flour-based sauce. It's something that you can leave on a low, slow heat, and it will just slowly bubble and reduce. And like, it's actually right at that sweet spot here, Ollie. Like, this would go perfect with pretty much anything. It just doesn't need any additional
Is it good?
cooking.
Is it good with geese? Because I heard there's someone going on with geese over there.
Yeah, this would work beautifully with geese. It's actually a goose reduction. You took a goose and you rendered it down, and it's now a goose sauce, perfect for serving with goose.
Where's the
Sequel to
goose
Untitled
sauce?
Goose Game.
Okay.
Barbara runs up and tries
Oh,
to take
no.
the pot. Barbara tries
There's
to take the
there's
pot.
so much stuff in the way. Why specifically that pot?
Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly it. Barbara's gonna go for
It's
it.
because somebody she's met has expressed an interest in it, therefore it's hers.
Okay.
Barbara doesn't fear God. I'm not gonna like actually roll for anything because it's not gonna succeed. But should I
I think
roll for
I
it?
think the pot's bigger than you.
Exactly. You know what?
So-
I'm gonna roll for it.
Yeah,
What do I roll here?
Explain to me what is happening here. How are you going about this?
Barbara just trying to walk
I'm
straight
stirring
up.
in this spot,
No
like doing
fear.
a sip thing.
No
and-
shade. She just grabs handle, yanks.
Okay.
Just tries to take it.
Ollie, are you doing anything to stop this?
I mean, I'm so entranced in like smelling and tasting the sauce of the ladle that like the pot is not even there. It's just eyes closed, smelling, tasting. You know, the trunk is completely entangled with the ladle. all that stuff. Yeah.
You're lost in a world of flavor. Yes, I am.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm happy to roll perception with disadvantage if you want to, though.
Look, I think B can just walk up and try and yank this out of your hands. B, it will.
Well,
require a
I'm not
strength
holding the
check.
pot. Like the
Oh, you're
pot
not
is
holding
free.
it.
No, I'm not. I'm holding
Please
a
God,
ladle.
Please God, what is it?
Oh my god! Right, so
Wow.
here's the thing: you successfully yank the pot, and like the pot comes
It will
clean
fall
away.
over, right?
Somebody check B's dice because that's 2 20s in a row. Check those
She's
digital
making up
dice.
earlier.
Yeah, so you pull the pot off the stove and you successfully have the pot. Here's the thing though, that was the strength required to take it off the pot, and it is a big, heavy metal pot full of sauce, and you suddenly find yourself having to balance this hot, massive, reduced goose What I'd like you to do is make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay. Just the same, right?
Okay, yeah. With an 11, unfortunately, you very quickly lose control of the pot of goose sauce, and it comes crashing down around you, and you are just, to recycle the joke you made from a couple of seconds ago, completely lost in the sauce here. Like, just drenched head to foot in reduced goose.
It's a crap!
And Ollie, I'm afraid all of your wonderful sauce that you had just confirmed was fine after an hour away is now lost. It's coating an elderly kleptomaniac gnome.
The sauce is lost.
This was a sauce, not a glaze.
Oh, very good. Okay, so
Casually stroll up and try to grab like a roll or a biscuit off one of the tables.
So, in amongst all of this, what you haven't noticed is that, yes, there are a lot of cooks around the room who are, like, giving you the sort of strange look you were getting from the custodians when you were in the custodians hall of, like, what are these people doing here, and why are they acting like they own the place? But at the head of the room, is a large woman in an apron, and trying to think of a good character from film to reference, but no one is immediately coming to mind. A large, burly, ruddy-faced woman with an apron, wielding a massive spoon, like she's clearly the one in charge here.
Julia Child.
Julia Child,
but angry.
Bigger and very, very clearly annoyed in a way that Julia Childs was never. What is the meaning of this? Why have the four of you burst into here? Ollie, I was certain you had been taken away for punishment. The fact that you're back here is very disappointing to me. I will be having words with Constable Gerrymander about exactly what appropriate punishment looks like. The four of you need to get out right this second. And as the word second leaves her mouth, the world slows down around you and loses a little bit of colour, and Pilmander pops back into view. And he says to you, well, this is where I'd intended to go. Unfortunately, I got a little bit waylaid and distracted and had a few other things to set up. That'll be fun for later. Don't get ahead of ourselves. And, well, this is going to be the site of our first game. But this is a little more occupied than I really would have liked. And so he waves his hand and wiggles his fingers. And hopefully I can do this relatively quickly. And all of the cooks, all of the chefs, and I didn't actually give you her name, but the head chef, whose name was, hurriedly checking my notes, Bagatha Crumb, all disappear. They disappear back to the Shadow Realm, and in their place, a set of floating red targets appear. Now, these targets are about 2 feet in diameter, and they hover as if suspended by something. And they move slightly back and forwards. In fact, if you were to try and reach out and touch one, you would find that it very much shied out of the way of you. And in addition to that, on each table, replacing all of the breads and the soups and the salads and all of the other normal activities you would expect to find in a kitchen, are mountains and mountains of pies. Hot, steaming pies, a variety of flavours, just completely cover all of these surfaces here. And Pilmander looks at you and says, nice, simple game to get things started off here. All I want you to do, nice and simple, take some pies, get rid of these targets, and then we'll think about what to do next. Really, the quicker, the better. Simple? Any questions?
Can I eat the pie?
You can. So you reach out and take a pie, and basically there are any flavor pie you could conceive of is in this pile. So if you want to take a second and pick one out that looks like a specific flavor, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, we'll just randomly generate a flavor for you.
Mountain wildberry.
Mountain, yeah, you look deep, and it's there under a couple of apple and blackberries, and there, mountain wildberry, right there in front of you. Big, crusty-looking pie. And what are you going to do with it? Are you tasting it?
Oh, I'm reaching in with one hand, just taking a piece out and eating it.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It is amongst the most beautiful pies you have ever sampled. All just sat there on a table, completely unattended.
Take his pie.
Okay.
You cannot reach this
It's
pie.
okay.
This one,
this
pie
I'm
is.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, this pie is in a keep away, throwing it between bullies kind of height for you, I'm afraid, B. I am just
Scrappy. I'll go for it.
I'm just gonna eat. I'm gonna keep eating the pie, keeping it away from Barbara as much as possible.
okay. I'm just trying to make some edits here, and hopefully you can't see the thing that I just dragged in. Who knows? With my
I will studiously ignore
I don't-
anything
I don't
that
see
I am
anything.
not
good.
supposed to.
Then,
not looking
then
at the
it
screen.
worked, and I look like less of an idiot. Fantastic. Okay. Pilmander looks, he goes, well, look, you are more than welcome to sample the merchandise, but I did specifically say as quickly as possible here, and so I'd really like you to get the ball rolling on this one. And remember, at the end of the day, if you upset me in any way, I can and will turn you inside out. And I gotta tell you from experience, that is a very difficult thing to come back from.
Hey, Pilly, you done?
Well, yeah, did you not hear the full stop at the end of the sentence?
Yeah, I mean, you done being annoying. You gotta
Oh,
leave.
no, not by a long stretch. We've got a lot more annoying coming down the pipeline.
Pilly.
So he gives you a look, and he snaps his fingers, and your mouth is completely like there is flat skin where your mouth used to be.
You mean like in the Matrix in the opening, which is like
Yeah.
It's a Matrix / I have no mouth and yet I must scream kind of situation.
Oh, hey, that's better.
Okay, now little gnome, have we learnt a lesson? I need a nod from you. Okay, we haven't learned anything at all here, so that's going to remain in place for at least a little while longer here. Yeah, you know what? I kind of thought as much. Well, look, as long as you're going to cause as much trouble for these guys as you are for me, I guess we'll give you a pass on this one. Clicks his fingers, and yeah. And the mouth reappears, and Pilmander says, okay, I'm going to be watching from the shadows here. Let's see how quickly you can deal with this. And again, with a click of his fingers and a puff of red smoke, he's gone from the room.
so he wants
Pick up,
us
like-
to he wants to throw pies. Pies are for eating.
Now, just
Well,
make
picks
sure
up a pie
we
and throws it
throw
at
them
Ellie.
towards mouths. Ah,
So, sorry, we got a
I got a pie thrown at by.
yeah. Okay, well, look, make an attack roll, please, Barbara.
Yes, sir.
That would hit
Holy
me.
moly.
Yeah, that's a hit. Where were you aiming? Like, how were you throwing this pie? Describe the arc and the
General
intended
direction. She just
location.
picks up a pie and throws it at him.
She just hooked it at him. Okay.
Jesus.
Well, looking at the relative difference in heights here, Ollie, that pie collides solidly with your chest, and there's a, and it slowly makes its way down the front of your tunic.
Hit the target, sauce boy.
Think, not to dirty his own hands too much, Phineas is going to mage hand, pick up one pie, smash it up to the ceiling like one of those like goopy like hand toys that get stuck up there forever,
Yeah.
and just kind of repeat the process with as many as he can. So just like smashing pies into the ceiling and waiting for the tins to fall down.
Okay. Pilmander pops back in and goes, I know this wasn't in the stated objectives, but this is objectively funny. This is good stuff here. And he winks back out again.
yeah, it's gonna be good when they come down.
I'm
Encouraged.
gonna try and save as much pie from my chest as possible. To like try and figure out like what to do with this. Try and eat it maybe. Like what type of pie is it?
I throw another pie at him.
I'm gonna. You were given it's your pie. What flavor of pie did you throw at him?
Sewage.
Sewage pie. It's unlikely, but we did say it's pretty much every flavor of pie here. So yeah, sewage pie down your chest. If you want to try and eat that, you're more than welcome to.
Hmm.
It was the first thing that came to mind when they said any flavor. I was like, sewage.
Sewage pie. If there's one thing I'm going to remember from this session, it's got to be sewage pie now.
Well, wonders
Oh,
never
my,
cease.
my friend,
the-
friend, we are one section deep into this.
Well, the problem is because I just kind of ate sauce and tried to flavor that, so my palate's kind of full. But also, I have a very stuffy nose at the moment, so I don't taste that much. So
Oh.
he is just full on mouthing this in.
Oh.
Constitution saving throw, please.
Yep, coming at you.
I'm gonna say that's not enough there. A 14 is not enough to avoid being sickened when you realise that you have ingested sewage wrapped in a fine layer of golden flaky pastry. So you are sickened for the next 30 seconds to a minute or
Where's
so.
my conditions? Yeah, I'll find it. I'll find it.
Okay, thank you. I trust you. Okay, so you're in a room full of pies and floating targets. How do we proceed?
I would assume that by now I have an empty pie plate.
Yes.
I would like to just frisbee toss it at the nearest target, see what I can do.
Okay, so make an attack roll for me. Actually,
shit.
whereabouts are you and which target are you aiming for? You need
Well,
the
I
doors.
would assume I'm by this table because that's the
Yeah.
closest one that I was at. So let's just go to the closest one right here.
Okay, yeah, make an attack roll.
Do you want me to just do like a strength check for an attack roll? Or?
I think you have unarmed attack. I think that's...
I do have an arm strike.
Yeah, let's make it unarmed strike. That's nice and
Cool,
straightforward.
cool. 15.
Okay, that's a hit, but the pie tin itself is, it's one of those light foil, single-use pie tins. It just sort of dunk, hits the target and falls to the floor and does the classic, wheel falling off a car, rolling thing before it settles.
All right, nuts to this. I'm going to turn over and face at a stack of pies that's nearest me, maybe like 10 feet away, and just huck an Eldritch Blast at it.
Okay, so you hook an Eldritch Blast specifically at a table of pies.
Yeah, trying to see if I can get that split billiards explosion.
Okay, yeah. Roll to hit with Eldritch Blast.
That is oh wow, not very good. An 8.
No. Okay, so unfortunately the blast goes wide. Where's your character gone? So which table were you aiming at?
Where am I?
I believe
I
you
think
are
our, two
there.
characters disappeared.
Where am I?
Okay.
Yeah,
she
two,
was the
gone.
bird
two
gone.
characters disappeared, basically, I think, because I am a moron. So give me a second, and I'll
Where's the kitchen?
hook your characters back into existence. There we go. You've returned
Okay.
from the X zone, and you're ready.
Yeah, I tried to blast this and see if I couldn't get it to fleck over to the.
I feel like that. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were aiming at a much farther table. I think you are aiming directly in front of you. It's an automatic hit. Anything bigger than a 1 would have hit.
Okay, I think it'd be amazing if I missed and just shoot it off wide.
Yeah. Okay, so the
You're the
table
DM.
full of pies just goes absolutely flying. It's a tall room. All the rooms in this particular part of IOTH Academy are huge. They're very tall. They're stone buildings, and you have like a meteor has hit this pile of pies, and they go shooting off in all direction, and it begins to rain confectionery and pie filling and strawberries and apparently sewage all over in a big crater in front of you. But it's not done really anything to affect any of the targets.
All right. Well, if anyone asks, I didn't do that. Shuffle off to another pile and start mage handing them directly into the targets. It's
Okay.
So instead of picking up a pie, I just walk over to a target, and I stab it with a spoon because I don't have forks left.
I'm not going to make you directly in front of it. It's not moving particularly quickly, and so that's fine. You automatically hit. But what are you hitting it with? With a fork, was that?
A spoon.
With a
No,
spoon.
because I don't have forks left, so I do it
course,
with a
of
spoon.
course.
Yeah.
There's a metallic dink, and nothing happens to the target.
Rats.
So very quickly, just apologies to Olaf for everything so far this session.
We're fine.
Barbara points at it and laughs, and then picks up a pie of her own and hucks it at the target I'm gonna say like directly over his shoulder, going for the target.
Yeah,
So it
okay.
could hit him. It could hit the target.
Can you go over my shoulder? Is that a thing?
I'm aiming for it.
7'6", you know?
Listen,
Okay,
LeBron James.
Let's
We're gonna try it.
let's roll to hit and see if your dice rolls are as amusing in the other direction as they have been in the forward.
Oh, this is
direction.
gonna be one of those trebuchet
What
rolls.
Okay, there's something sus here, but okay. Okay,
LeBron James.
that's a direct hit, and as soon as the pie collides with the target, it breaks and it disappears.
Nobi.
Oh, the target breaks
Ah.
disappears, not the pie. Or both.
The pie and the target both wink out of existence. Like the
Okay.
pie does what it did to your chest, and it sticks, and it begins to slide
Oh,
before
my
it can
God.
slide off. It's gone.
Okay.
It's gone
So it
to the
disappears
pie
with the
afterlife.
target.
The afterlife.
So the targets that we're just like
Afterlife of
melee
pie.
stuffing pies into isn't doing anything.
Sorry, say that again.
The targets that are just getting like pies just smashed up against them like by hand is not doing anything, right?
No, sorry. I think what happened there was I got briefly distracted by someone else doing something, so apologies for that.
Oh, okay.
Mage handing the pie into it actually works.
Oh, okay,
it's,
cool.
It's such a simple operation for you that I'm not even going to make a roll for it because, yeah, you just go, and like, you know, there's still a little bit of travel there. It still counts as throwing, and so yeah, was it this one you were aiming at? This one here?
Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay, all done. Yeah, that's 2 targets down. You're making short work of this very difficult encounter.
Sweet.
Savvy seeing these is going to take them, and whereas it was an empty pie plate before, is going to start doing them with full pies this time.
Okay.
Frisbee style again at the these 2 targets that are on this side. So here and here.
Okay, well, make attack rolls on each. I believe you
Excellent.
have multi-weapon fighting, and in this encounter, pies count as weapons. So yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay, cool. So just 2 unarmed strikes then.
Yep.
So that's the first one. Oh my
The
god.
most dangerous weapon of all.
Okay, that's a
pie.
hit. These things are not particularly difficult. They're not moving particularly far, particularly fast.
So 13 and 8.
So the 13 hits, the 8 doesn't. So the second pie that you throw sails wide and traces a beautiful trajectory just to the right and lands with a very satisfying splat on the floor at the far end.
Very well.
I realize we've not entered anything approaching like initiatives and turn order, but you guys seem to be doing a good job here of keeping yourselves
Yeah, we're just
on a story
going.
beat, so let's just roll with it.
I don't know who's up now.
I think you are.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
Yeah.
it's you.
It's
It's
Ollie's
fine.
turn.
Well, I was in the middle of it. There was a target that disappeared because a pie was thrown at it.
Yes.
So I look to my left, I look to my right, I look in front of me. I see 3 targets. I get very confused, but I guess I'm officially allowed to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm
My
gonna
favorite
try
kind
and
of action.
I'm gonna pick up a pie up with both hands and a third one with my trunk, and I'm gonna try and do like sort of a spin throw that all the 3 of them go at the same time.
Okay.
If this hit, I'm going to be so impressed.
Yeah.
They
right,
won't.
So I think 3 attack rolls and 3 attack rolls to start, and then we'll worry about the fallout later.
I mean, no advantage or disadvantage, just attacks.
No, I think we'll just let it play and see what happens. It's funnier this way.
Okay, 1, 2, and 3.
Ooh.
Okay, so here's
20 and
Ooh,
4.
which one hits?
here's the unfortunate thing. Both hands that were holding pies, the ones you would sort of expect to do well, they just spin off into the distance. And Barbara and Savvy, you have to duck out of the way of these. Like, it's not difficult. They're pies. They're not moving at a ridiculous speed. And you're watching this elephant man pirouette with a handful of pies. Easily dodged out of the way. But the one that was held in your trunk, somehow, what happens is your trunk, because of the inertia and momentum of a structure this size, you spin, and the trunk is one of the last things to move, and it moves around your head and past you, and it flips past you, and as it unfurls on the far side, you send a pie flying directly at the one straight in front of you. It collides beautifully with a big smash, and the target and pie fade from existence.
Yeah, it's that target exactly.
Yeah,
Gonna say.
exactly what you were going for.
Yeah. I'm gonna like
think
one
it
of
was-
those. I don't know if you ever see like a discus thrower, like disc throwing
Yeah.
at athletics. Like that's the thing I was doing with that.
It's
with that
actually a lot more like a hammer throw, but yeah, it's the
Okay.
same basic premise, yeah.
trunk. Fair.
Okay, then I believe it is Barbara next.
Yep. I take the nearest pie and I shove it down Ollie's pants.
Okay. I'm not even going to make you roll for that. Let's. How does this interaction work, Ollie? How do you respond to this?
I'm just right behind him anyway. I just take the nearest pie. Don't care what it is. I just dump it down the back of his pants. Just. And I leave.
Can we just say that it is pie flavor or?
Yeah.
No,
Pie.
it's sewage, baby.
Yes. So, somehow not listed on the table of skills for Barbara is the unerring ability to pick out a sewage pie from a table full of every other conceivable flavor of pie.
It's uncanny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
If it was a
I
useful
wonder.
skill,
I
it would be
wonder.
great.
I wonder if I even notice with my thick skin.
If you'd like to make a perception check, you're more than welcome to.
Let
if you'd
me.
like to
Let
take
me.
that one.
Let me just do that one. There you go.
Okay, yeah, something squishy happened in your back end there.
Well, I go and check what happens.
You know what that's like.
I don't know if my head can bend that way, but I'll,
At this
like,
point, Barbara is gone.
I'll,
She's
like-
across the room.
I'll at least I'll reach out and try and figure out what happened there.
Okay, well, how are you responding to this on an emotional level, or?
But I mean, something happened. I don't know if it was me or something else that happened.
There's just sort of a general Eeyore, oh dear, kind of moment.
Oh dear, kind of exactly.
Okay, with Barbara's...
So when I pull my hand back, I do see that it's pie.
Yes.
So I do have a general idea that something apparently motioned this pie in that area, but I didn't see who or what it was. I just noticed there was a squishy feeling all of a sudden.
Okay.
Barbara woke up and chose violence. I'm sorry.
Has
I'm
Barbara
just
ever woken up
confused.
and not
Shenanigans.
chosen violence?
Probably not.
No. Okay, I believe that makes it Savvy's turn again.
Savvy's getting a little frustrated by missing that second pie.
Understandable.
We're gonna give it one more attempt. This time running up and like slamming the pie down on the target, not throwing it.
Okay.
So grabbing a pie, moving forward, and smashing it at the target.
Yeah, and just like, breaking the backboard, slam dunk on top of the target.
Yes.
Yeah, let's make an athletics check for that one for me.
No worries.
Okay, yeah, that's a success. And boy, it looks cool of how, like, if there was a backboard on this thing, like, the buzzer would be going, there would be glass everywhere, but the target is definitely down and out and won't be bothering anybody else with its targety goodness anymore. Right, and that brings us back to... I've got this real mental block on whether it's Phineas or Finnegan. So, Phineas, it's your turn.
He's just looking at like everybody just making all these feats of athleticism, and he's feeling maybe a little bit inadequate. So he's like, "All right, let's show you youngins how to do it." And he drops the mage hand, picks up a pie in his left hand, and he you can hear like the pops and everything like in all of like his in all of his joints
Oh, no.
as he like leans back and just like tongue hanging out like, and he hucks it at the far target over here.
Okay.
Instead of the one next to you. Okay, I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's too easy.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's make an attack roll for that one then, please. Unarmed strike is fine.
That is a 12.
Okay, a 12 is not going to be enough, and an old man, not a lot of
Damn
skills,
it!
far more used to flexing his brain wrinkles than his arm wrinkles. It falls pathetically short. Like it lands kind of here. It's very sad. And you do come away from that a little bit embarrassed, I think.
Nobody says anything about this, or I'll kill you.
Would you like some help next time?
No.
What, you're throwing prune pies, old man? Don't
Phineas,
gaze
I think he just like puts a wrinkly old fist into another pie, but it's sewage, and he's like, "Ow, damn it!"
Okay, and that takes us back around, I believe, to Ollie to start off.
Yeah, so I drew it as a bonus action. I
Oh.
drew a craft, and I try to
Okay.
predict the weather. And a tiny little pie imagery appears above my hand. It's like the weather prediction forecast. It's gonna be raining pies, and I'm gonna throw a pie again add the target that's
Okay,
furthest away from
well,
me.
You know the drill.
Yeah, I do. I do. Let me find the thing. Actually, there we go. Haha.
Okay, and I mean, hang on, I've actually lost track of you. Is that you there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like,
Yeah,
I guess in the
and
center,
aiming at
so
this one.
I haven't really moved.
As 6 is not enough. So as cool as the little like pie demonstration was, again, it just goes horribly wild, horribly wide. Even.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's always really bad when you set yourself up to do something cool and it just doesn't come off. So apologies on that one.
I did do the voice. That's what messed it up.
Yeah, exactly. Next time you'll get it. Barbara, what's your action this turn?
I just walk up, grab a pie, and just haphazardly just.
Okay, well, look, again, it's point blank. It's not particularly difficult, so I'm not even going to make you roll for that one. That target rather gets pied into oblivion, and you are down to the final 2 pies in this particular minigame. And that takes us back over to Savvy.
Savvy is going to go over to our curmudgeonly friend here. Pick him up and put a pie in his hand to try and replicate the slam dunk, but this time with Savvy not being the executor of the action, but in fact the person he picked up.
Okay, so there's a couple of things. I think we've established that you have the strength to lift up somebody roughly this size and shape. That's not the problem here. Phineas, are you going to attempt to fight this in any way?
How fast does he come and do it? Like, just like come like scoop really quickly, or is it like a hey, I got you there, and then just like
it's definitely going to be more a case of like recognize. Oh, good question.
We're talking about like a fireman's, like you're swooping him into a fireman's lift, and also
yeah. It's less. You weren't given much advanced information. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. Oh God, do I have any reactions? If we are technically doing like a combat order, I don't.
Okay.
But if it's my turn when I'm still being held,
yeah,
I think he's just gonna be like, ah! What?
Yeah. Okay. Well, with that in hand, are you attempting to replicate the slam dunk here? Was that the action, or was it just to hit the target?
Who, me?
Yes, sorry, Savvy.
No, my action would be to pick up Phineas. It wouldn't be so much the thing. It'd be setting him in a position to do that if he chose to.
I understood. Right. So you're giving him a platform from which to slam
yes.
dunk. Okay, so it's helpful. It's not just that you've invaded his personal space.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Phineas...
Savvy certainly did not convey that information very well.
No. Phineas, it's now your turn. You do find yourself being held several feet in the air with a pie in your hand.
Okay, so I'm being like picked up. I have a pie and I can slam it in there. Like, and does it seem pretty obvious that like this was like, hey, I'm gonna lift you up so you could reach the target, or is it more like I have no idea what's going on? I'm trying to get a lay of like what the.
I think that's a Savvy ex Lafon answer required there.
Savvy is not being adversarial. How much you're willing to read into that is entirely up to you.
Yeah, I think. While Phineas is not especially wise, I think after he's over the shock, he's like, oh, okay. It's unnecessary, but fine. Slams the pie into the target.
Okay. Are you when you say slam the pie, are you replicating the slam dunk, or are you just going for a hit?
I think he sort of like tries to do a slam dunk, but his arms aren't very long, so he kind of like reaches out and he just barely like.
Yeah, I seeing him seems that it actually Savvy definitely trying to be helping him to like so he'd be moving Phineas with him in the same action.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's get an athletics check from Phineas then to see how this works out, because it is an athletics feat.
Let's go.
Infinity Boy, give us the dunk.
All right, that's an 11.
All right, you know what? With the assist and the distance, that's a very cool dunk. Like, maybe not quite as cool as Savvy's, because Savvy did it under their own steam. But yeah, the target is definitely done and dusted, and that leaves you with only one target left in the room. And I believe we are back to Ollie.
Oh, with my previous failure, I'm just gonna like pick up a pie, very, very slowly, clearly defeated, walk over to the last target and just like push it in.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Pretty
Sad.
much.
Sad
Yeah.
lumbering music.
Yeah,
Okay.
still with good
Wait,
posture,
before
though.
he does-
Still with decent posture.
Before he does, I'll take another pint down his pants.
I think it's fair to say we can do that on your turn. It does happen after this.
But I don't know if the pies disappear after the last target's cleared.
Okay, so you
I'm also walking over, looking still a little bit sickly because I think I'm still sickened.
Okay, well, look, the target very clearly disappears. The pies do remain there,
Okay, cool.
and so you are completely successful in dealing with that. And as the last target disappears, Pilmander pops back into the room, and he looks around and goes, you know, I kind of thought this would be a little more entertaining than it was, and so, whilst I appreciate you doing what I asked you to do here, what we're going to do, just to add a little more spice, is this. And he clicks his fingers, disappears again, and the targets appear back in the room, but in a sort of cracked and broken form where they were, and they start to shake, and they start to vibrate, and the vibration gets stronger and stronger and stronger, and they start to move into the center of the room. And as they move into the center of the room, they coalesce into a large feline shape made entirely of broken targets. That's right, a target tiger appears in the center of the room. But
What
we
the
are
hell?
due a little break, everybody. And so, whilst we take that into consideration, I'll leave you here to ponder the actions of the target tiger, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.